Season 3 is officially here, and we are very excited about episode 65 as we welcome Brandon with New Nine Golf to the podcast. Brandon has over 21,000 followers on Instagram and over 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. He creates awesome golf videos that include tips, vlogs, and product reviews. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button or follow him on Instagram. The user handle is at New9Golf. Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time and hopping on.
Hey, thanks for having me, fellas. That was a sick intro. That felt pretty good. Got my ego going, that's for sure.
I was so worried about butchering it, but it's because it's been a while, so maybe I'm well rested and I'm ready to go. So appreciate it.
Yeah, worked out. Good start to 2023. That was a good read.
Absolutely. I can't even believe it's 2023. It's kind of wild. So
I woke up this morning and I thought we're like halfway through January. It's like the first week.
we're getting there though. We're getting there. I know it's wild. So Brandon, we wanted to start off the season 3 with a bang. So we're glad that you could join us. And we kind of just wanted to get right into it. I want to definitely talk about your vlogs, your golf reviews, and your lessons. But I kind of want to just back up a little bit and talk about how you kind of got into the game of golf and how that transpired into what you do now.
Sure. So New Nine, I started probably back in like 2017. I wanted to start my own like golf lifestyle clothing brand. And I had no experience in creating clothes. So I thought it was easier said than done. So started doing some hats, tried to get some manufacturers for shirts and gloves and stuff. And it was kind of a slow grind. And I thought, I want to try to build a golf community that people can buy into instead of just there's another golf hat at a golf store kind of thing. So then I kind of pivoted to do more media stuff. I have a small media background. I went to school for broadcasting. So I thought I wanted to be on like Sports Center talking about, football or baseball, basketball, hockey, those types of things. So I started just recording some stuff for the YouTube channel. I kind of did some interview stuff, kind of just got my feet wet in all different types of media, I guess. That's how I kind of got down to doing reviews. I did some small reviews, those kind of took off, and I was kind of just going towards whatever people would watch. So that was kind of in a nutshell that we started to try to do just a clothing brand. And I wanted to build this golf community. And then now I'm kind of tying the two together that we've built a much bigger community. And we're kind of just trying to sell clothing more as merch than an actual golf brand. So I'm kind of coming full circle and trying to tie the two together.
I can definitely tell with the broadcasting because you're very good at it. So pretty much every video is really well done. So that makes complete sense. Did you play golf in high school or go to college and play golf at all? Or
Golf was always just a hobby. I played high level hockey growing up. So it was always like hockey in the winter, golf in the summer. And then the older I got, I stopped playing hockey and started to play more golf. And I just had the golf nut. Like a lot of my closest friends were just obsessed with golf. It was probably like 2015. I started taking it a little bit more serious, did some lessons, got some coaches. So I never played competitive golf until I was in kind of like my mid 20s. I'm 30 now. So it's been an eventful maybe last 5 years, but yeah, I probably have taken golf serious maybe the last seven-ish years. I just play like local amateur events, but yeah, that's kind of my golf game in a nutshell.
you're from Canada, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I see you rocking a Minnesota Wild too. So we're division rivals, or we used to be anyway.
Yeah,
So
we used
it's
to.
And one of
lots
us
of
is drastically better than the other.
Always talking smack right after that.
you know what?
Uh,
I actually have I have a Minnesota Wild jersey hanging in my basement. I got a
yeah.
little man cave. Yeah, as a big Cal Clutterbuck fan, and
Okay. Cal
when
Oh yeah.
He was the one
when
that rocked
Cal
the mustache for a while,
yeah,
right?
big handlebar, kind of a fourth
Big
line
handlebar.
grinder. I don't even know where he is now. He might be in the Islanders or something. But yeah, I
Last
got a
I
Wild
heard,
jersey, so we can.
Very cool. I will say that the hockey golf transition seems to be a pretty popular thing here, even here in Minnesota too. Most of the golfer or hockey players seem to be very, I don't know if it's a hand-eye coordination, but for the most part, it kind of comes natural to them. So I can definitely see that. Um, Kind of going back into the YouTube videos and all that. So did you start YouTube before Instagram, or was it kind of Instagram first and then it kind of transpired into creating, from different channels?
So I always had an Instagram. I had a personal Instagram account that was still golf kind of focused, but it was just more for like friends. Like I was never trying to go viral or trying to make viral content. It was more just like my own personal stuff. So I had dabbled in Instagram prior to YouTube. So YouTube came later, and then I've tried to kind of tie the two together. But the two platforms don't really like communicating with each other. Every platform is built to keep their users on that platform. So I would say that my YouTube following, I would bet, is only maybe 20% Instagram followers. And it's probably even less. I bet you that I only have 10% of my Instagram followers that are actually YouTube subscribers. So I've played
That's
around in
interesting.
both and tried to learn both, but they're very different. And I would say my audiences they're quite separate from each other.
That is kind of interesting because that was one of our goals, is to get to put more content out on YouTube, not just like for our podcast, but during the summer, spring, and all that. We want to kind of just create different content, whether if it's a 1v1, 2v2 challenge on the course, whatever it might be. It seems that that's kind of the trend right now, and it both on TikTok, Instagram. I know, like I said, YouTube is a little different, but we definitely want to pursue that. But I would say, I mean, even Dom, we've kind of looked into it. It's a total different bear as far as taking on trying to do the editing. It's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. We did like a little, like we tried to do like a little Tomo shoe review,
Hmm.
and it was very like impromptu, so it was very kind of messy. And I tried to sit down and like edit it, and I just shut my laptop and went away. Like,
It's yeah, you have to be in the right mindset too, and kind of you know it's very difficult. I think it's a little bit easier doing the Instagram reviews because it's very quick, and it's some people like that quick thing. But again, I like the
Oh
YouTube
yeah,
style.
and we did one of those, and it was easy. Just record it, voiceover,
Yeah,
post, and
a
that was
lot
super
easier
easy.
for sure. So is that something when you do these YouTube videos, do you personally do a lot of the editing, or do you have someone else that kind of helps you?
So I have one business partner, Felix. He is my behind the scenes guy, and we would not be where we were with if it wasn't for Felix. Felix doesn't like being in front of the camera at all, but he's become a camera and editing guru. Up until 2 years ago, he didn't know anything about camera gear or editing, and he kind of just bunkered himself at home and took a whole bunch of courses and continues to learn every day. So if you see our videos from the inception of New Nine Golf to what we put out our most recent video, it looks like two different channels, and I owe a lot of it to him. I do have a very small editing background. Like I could put something very basic up, but I couldn't do it to the extent that he does. But I do all of our Instagram editing. So any like short form content, I can get away with doing our edits, but the YouTube stuff, like it's such a grind. I can totally empathize with you guys shutting your computer down when trying to do it, because some of our videos, so we just pumped out some driver review videos. They're about 10 to 15 minutes. The total editing process is probably like 4 to 5 hours of just filming, probably a close to an hour to just make a thumbnail. We brainstorm for titles, descriptions. So I would say the total process is anywhere from 50 to 100 hours for a
Wow.
15 to 20-minute video. So it's frustrating when you put so much effort into something and it flops, right? You never know what the response is going to be until you put it out, and vice versa. Sometimes we put no effort into something and it blows up. So it's funny. I'm sure you guys have had that with your
Yes.
content. You
Yep.
have something you think it's going to blow up, and then something else
Just
blows up that
pops.
took you 2 seconds to build.
Exactly.
So it's hard to do, but yeah, without my business partner Felix, like yeah, we wouldn't be where we are. So I owe a lot to him.
Kind of works out too because you don't mind being in front of the camera. You're very good at like I said, the whole broadcasting background, and with him being able to just kind of pick that up after the last few years and take classes, that's pretty impressive. Because yeah, everything that you guys do is really well done. So, congrats to both you and Felix. That's impressive. And speaking of the reviews or the recordings that you just launched just recently, um,
We may or may not have binged all of them.
which
So
is
so what I'm saying is if your views skyrocket in January, you're welcome.
Just
it's
a
all
couple
safe
guys
for
in
our golfing
Minnesota.
podcast. Yeah, exactly. But so I kind of want to get like your like unbiased thoughts on like which driver you prefer as far as the new ones that have just released. And then I know Dom was talking about, because I don't think we've seen it on there, but you just released three videos. That was the Cobra Aerojet, I believe, and then
Yep.
the Stealth 2, and then the Ping, is it the G430 now, I believe, right?
4:30. Yep.
Okay. So we always will I don't want to speak for Don, but for the most part, I've been a Cobra guy. I have the LTD Max in my bag, which I like. I haven't played it. I've only played a handful of rounds with it because I had the driver previous model. But what what would you say, like, if you had the option between those three drivers, and it's just an amateur golfer that's looking to try to hit a fairway and hit the ball, a decent length, which one would you suggest, and where do you think like the golf technology is going in the future, the future golf, all the carbon fiber and all these different types of technology? What do you think of that?
That's such a good question. And a lot of my YouTube subscribers ask me the same thing because they've seen my progression. I review or I post a what's in the bag video, usually once a year. And some guys that are big into gear can see what I'm playing. So I try to be as unbiased as possible. That's kind of where you have to be in the middle to have successful testing videos. Based on some of my results, a lot of people think that I'm biased because a lot of brands either continue to win or they surprise me and they're not on other people's radar. So I'm going through this tough part right now with drivers specifically. Since doing driver reviews, like I talk to a lot of manufacturers, right? So in order for me to even get these drivers before the public release, I have to talk to them and kind of see if they'll send some product to the fitting facility where I test them. And a lot of them, advertising has changed so much that you look at any golf influencer, they want their product in their hands to show it to their following. So basically, every manufacturer that I've reviewed so far has offered to give me a free driver. And I got into doing golf club reviews because I wanted free golf stuff.
It's a
So it
great way to
started
get
out
some free
getting
stuff.
The
cool.
best way.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this is awesome. I can get some free golf stuff. But then when I have to give my honest opinion or I have to pick something myself, like I feel guilty taking clubs that might just sit in a bag or I might give it away or whatever the case be, right? So last year there were clear, sorry, might have to edit that out. Last year there were some
I don't know how.
clear.
We're good.
I don't know how to edit.
Felix, where are you at? Oh,
Yeah,
we're good.
exactly. No, last year there were some clear winners. Like, so I tested everything. That LTDX that you're playing was way hotter than everything else. That and the Stealth one were very close. And then everything else kind of followed down. There wasn't a lot of drivers that really stood out for me. This year is the total opposite. There are so many good drivers. So off the top of my head, off of everything that I've hit so far, I would say the best so far, I think, has been the TaylorMade Stealth 2. That really surprised me. I wasn't expecting how good that was for me. The Cobra Aerojet is right behind it. The Titleist TSR lineup is right there. The Ping is right there. Ping, I have never really gotten along with their woods, and I was hitting this new G430 way further than I have in previous years. And they're all very neck and neck. Like I've looked at a lot of my data and my statistics that I get on TrackMan, and they're all within a couple of yards. So I would say so far, without looking at the data, the Stealth is in the running, but everything is so close. What I tell all of our YouTube subscribers is the best way to pick a driver is to get fit. I would say the old way of buying a golf club now is to go into any golf retail store, whether it be a Golf Galaxy or Dick's Sporting Good or Golf Town in Canada, walking in, picking up a driver off the rack and leaving. A lot of facilities that I just mentioned will give fittings. They have people in there that are qualified enough to look at your golf swing. You can hit every driver available, and chances are you're going to leave with a club that you didn't expect to go home with. So I think a lot of people are very brand loyal. That's just the nature of being a consumer. But a lot of people that are, they swear by Cobra go in, they leave with a Titleist, or they swear by TaylorMade and they leave with a Ping. So I would just say get professionally fit. It's a really cool experience, and more often than not, they're not going to charge you for it. So if you're going to spend $600 US or $800 Canadian to buy one of these clubs, you should be getting a qualified person to take a look at your swing, because you can change the shaft, the loft, lie angle, the weighting in the head. That technology's come so far. Your driver should be different than my driver, and vice versa. So I would say just go get fit, but there's so many good drivers out this year.
What was the driver that we are talking about that you were asking him, or that you wanted to ask?
So for the record, I played the new Rogue.
Rogue, yes.
Yeah, I have the Rogue. I love it. I hit it well, and it's like it looks super pretty. Obviously now it's the Paradigm from Callaway. That thing looks sick.
Yeah, I
That's
haven't reviewed.
that's like the only one I'm even like remotely interested in.
Yeah. Have you reviewed that one? I didn't see it on the channel.
I haven't yet. So Callaway, I was traveling a lot last month and I wasn't able to get to the Callaway prior to the release. The paradigm is super hot and people are talking about it. And I think Callaway actually did a really good job strategically to get their new driver out before this week. Because just this week, TaylorMade, Cobra, and Ping all released their stuff. And Callaway kind of had no competition the last 2 weeks. So everyone's been talking about Callaway, what's up with Callaway, and then these guys are kind of late to the party. That's what's funny about golf manufacturers is that they don't seem to line them all up the same. Like Titleist will only release a new driver once every 2 years. They released it back last spring, right? So it's funny just the way they release it, but no, there's a lot of hype around the Callaway. I haven't hit it yet, but I will be reviewing it. Yeah, a lot of people think that this paradigm could be driver of the year, so I'll definitely put that in the bracket when I'm comparing everything.
Well, for me, if it's a little bit better than the Rogue, I think it's gonna blow people out of the water. Because like the Rogue, I really like the Rogue anyways. But I have buddies who only will play TaylorMade. Like if it's not TaylorMade, they don't care. And
Right.
it's just like that's like the wrong way to look at things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I have LTDX irons and then
Mhm.
a Callaway driver, and then my wedges are fuck. I haven't looked at my golf bag since we went on a trip.
They're
Oh, I have the new
yeah, I was
Vokies.
just say they're the Vokies.
There's a
Yeah.
Vokies, yeah.
You made a really good point though about the whole everyone's very like your buddies with TaylorMade, like they find that brand and they like stick to it regardless. And the reason why I think that's interesting is I normally do play Cobra drivers as well, but I was out in Scottsdale and this was a couple of years ago. But I believe is it the G425 the most recent one before the 430, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So I played that driver because we just rented clubs out there at the time, but I was like surprised of how well and how far I hit that club. And I've never really been specifically fitted for ping before, but it's like I'm not one to stay with one brand the whole time. But I mean, I've always hit the Cobra pretty well, so I'm like, oh, well, why switch? But with renting that club, I was very surprised in the G425. I love the way it sounded different, felt good. It was very consistent. So I definitely would like to try the G430 and test that out.
Yeah, the 425 is known as like the most forgiving driver of all time. So I've no surprise that you had fun with it. But yeah, you'd have to hit. What's cool with these reviews videos is I usually get to hit the last year's model and then this year's model. So I can see firsthand has it changed. And so far, everything that I've tested has improved. So I think you would really like the G30 if you really
Okay.
like the 425. So you'll have to hit it.
Awesome.
I think my favorite thing you said in one of the videos was something along the lines of brand loyalty, but you're saying that people, if it was pink and it had like unicorns all over it, they wouldn't care if it felt good. And I was like, that's how it should be, man. Like, listen, if I could have a pink driver like Bubba, I wouldn't care as long as it felt good. Like, you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, absolutely.
Which I guess I could. In theory, I could paint it pink or whatever.
Um, so with your YouTube videos and all that, what is to kind of maybe take you back a little bit? What would be one of your favorite videos you've created, or at least maybe if you could list maybe a couple that you've created in the past um, few years, what would they be?
We were talking about this before we started recording was that trip out to play in Ricky Fowler's tournament in Miami Beach. That was really cool. So I got the opportunity through Cobra and Puma. It was the last year I did my first review on the Cobra LTDX LS or the Cobra LTDX lineup.
Yep.
And Cobra reached out to me and they kind of just said, hey, we really like your reviews. We like what you're doing. Can we send you a box of clothes? They're like, what size are you? So I'm like, I'm not going to turn down free clothes, right? So I send them my shirt size, my pant size. 2 days later, I get a box with shoes, pants, shorts, and a shirt. I'm thinking this is awesome. Like I just got a couple $100 worth of golf stuff. Golf clothes aren't cheap. So thanks, Puma. Thanks for the hookup. A couple days later, I get an email from the same guy, and he says, "Hey, Brandon, we're looking to fill some spots on this golf trip to play in Ricky Fowler and Kygo's golf tournament." They're like, "Are you available in the next?" What he gave me the dates, and it was like 2 weeks away. So I wasn't going to turn that down. So I kind of moved some stuff with my full-time job. And yeah, they flew me out to Miami Beach. It was a 2-day event. So the first day we played Trump Doral. Doral has the Blue Monster. It's a really cool
Okay.
golf facility. And then the second day was at, I think it's the Miami Beach Golf and Country Club, and that was the big day. So Kygo, the DJ, for people that don't know who Kygo is, one of the biggest DJs.
Thank you.
I'm a huge fan actually of both Ricky and Kyle. I was super jelly when you were talking about this. So keep going. Yeah.
I
I'm
legitimately had no idea who that
Oh,
man was.
He's
You would
awesome.
have heard some of his songs. He had that big the Whitney Houston Higher Love remix. So chances are
That's a good
you've
one.
heard his songs, and DJs, are always behind. It's not like a singing artist, right? So when you see them, you're
Mhm.
like, oh, that's what that guy looks like. Anyway, so I guess Kygo has a collaboration with Puma called PTC, which is the Palm Tree Crew. So they have
Oh yeah.
a collaboration clothing line, and that's what this event was for. It was a big hype up party for this Palm Tree Crew clothing line. So for us to be there, we were a small fish in a big pond. Like it was crazy. We get there. The first guy, Steve, is Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, and I see Johnny Damon, who is a Hall of Fame baseball player, right? Played for the Yankees, the Red Sox. There was a ton of guys. Zach Wilson, quarterback for the
Royals too,
Jets.
not to brag.
That's wild.
Yeah. So there was a ton of people there, plus a ton of golf influencers, right? So from Canada, Golf Heads, I'm sure you guys have seen them on Instagram. They do a lot of cool
Yep.
hype golf stuff. They had him out there. Paris Holinsky, one of the up and comer girls for LPGA. She's super hype. She's with LA Golf. She's doing a lot of cool stuff. East Side Golf was there. PJ Memes was there. Like I'm surprised you guys weren't there. Based on
No,
how big
right.
your following is, I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll be to some of these in the near future.
For sure, absolutely. Who did you ended up getting like was it like a 4-person scramble or how did the events work?
It was a four-person scramble, so we were kind of hanging out with the Puma Canada guys. So like
Okay.
the vice president for Puma was someone in my foursome. There was, and then they had a bunch of local reps that sell the most of their products. So the facility that I film out of is called Modern Golf, and they're probably the biggest independent retailer in my area. So they had like one of their sales reps with them, and then another sales rep from somewhere else in Canada. So it was a bunch of us Canadians. But at the end, there was kind of an after party where we could see how all the results were. And the guys that ended up winning were four long drive guys. So Kyle Berkshire, I'm sure you guys know Kyle
Oh
Berkshire, the
yeah.
world long drive hitter.
Yeah.
So there was him. There was um, Bobby, who runs what's his Instagram? I think it's I Heart Golf. He's another big, oh
Long drive guy. Okay, I feel like I've heard of that.
yeah, long drives. So anyway, they just ate up the field, right? But our
Long
team beat.
drivers? Was it
Yeah,
long
long
drivers? Long
drivers.
drivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, so Bobby runs long drivers.
Yep.
Fast Eddie. Anyway, so these guys they were all driving every par four, like to have a scramble and four long drive guys. Like someone's going to be by the green every time. So they ate it up, but our team beat Ricky Fowler, so that's something that we can hang our hat on. That
There
our
you go.
Canadian foursome beat Ricky Fowler's team. So as far as
Good
like
for you.
filming content, that was like it was like an out of body experience, like to just have such a, I still consider our community fairly small, and to be with these like A-listers was just really cool to see how they interact, how they do stuff. And it was a fun 48, 72 hours. Like that was really cool.
I feel like once you get to like that level, it's like almost like every other event is just gonna be like down here. You know what I mean? You get to something like that and just get spoiled.
Well, you know what? Like there's a lot of cool events like that that we're just oblivious to and have no idea. So
Sure,
there
sure.
was some guys that we were with. Are you familiar with TXG, Golf TXG?
Uh-uh.
So in the club review space, they're probably the biggest Canadian YouTube channel. So they have, I think, a couple 100,000 YouTube subscribers. And
Mhm.
anyway, so I was talking to them, and they said, "Oh yeah, we also went to TaylorMade's version of this. Callaway flew us to Cabo. Like every manufacturer has a similar type of event. So even to just be included in one of these and be able to get to kind of film it was super cool. So if I could film it again, I would do it differently. But I think that's kind of the part of having a YouTube channel, that you're always trying to just make things better. So at the time, it was the best that we could make. I would make some
Right.
changes, but it would be cool that in 5, 10, 15 years down the road, I could look back and be like, this was kind of our first big event that we were invited to.
Very cool.
That's kind of the cool thing though, because you can look back on it and go, okay, I had a blast here, but I would do this, this, and this different. It's kind of a fun way to always look back and self-improve. Then go back, listen to our first episode, we're a mess.
Oh
And
yeah.
then the second episode we were singing Bee Gees.
Yeah,
So we don't do that
we were
anymore.
all over the map with our podcast is golf and things. We do actually talk a lot of food. So we've had a lot of guests on and we'll ask you this as well, but we like to kind of figure out like if we're in your area, like what is the go-to food to eat, whether it's a burger, steak, whatever it might be. So we like to talk a little bit of not just golf, kind of like to, get to know the guest. So we'll definitely ask a little some food questions as well. But I also wanted to ask one other question, like as far as so you do like your golf lessons in the reviews, what has been one of like the most unique items that you've reviewed, like for like a product?
Good question.
You took my question away.
I'm just on a
One,
roll right now. I had no idea that was your question.
I'm trying to think something that well, so I have all two that come to mind. For the most part, like golf products are so good. Like it's tough to give a bad review. One of the worst reviews I've gave is on a training aid called the Putt Out. I guarantee you guys have seen it. It's a little
Heard of the
cup,
Yep.
and it's got like a quarter pipe behind it,
Yep.
and you put the ball to this little circle. Anyway, I didn't like it. I thought it was like super gimmicky. I thought it was expensive. I thought it was average. So I had a chance to give something a poor review, and I gave it a poor review, and people hate that review. So what happens is people will come to my review looking for reassurance that what they bought was a good purchase, right? So if you just bought the brand new TaylorMade Stealth, you can watch one of my videos. I say, yeah, this Stealth is awesome. That makes them feel good. They're like, you know what? I made a great decision. This guy's on YouTube. He said it was a good product. That's the reassurance that I needed, right? But if someone comes to YouTube to watch a training aid that they just purchased and I say it's bad, they're gonna just rip you to shit. They're like, this is the best training aid ever. You're not using you're not using it right. Your putting stroke sucks. You have an expensive putter and your putting stroke is trash. You don't know how to putt. So I wouldn't really call that unique, but I think it's funny anytime I give a review that people don't agree with me that I'm the worst person on earth. Another one of our videos it was like our highest viewed video for a long time is this product called Phi Golf or Phi Golf. It's PHI Golf. So what it is, it's an at-home golf. I'll call it a video game.
Okay.
They give you kind of it's like a quarter of a golf club. So you get the grip and it's maybe a foot and a half long. And at the end, there's a ball and you can hook it up to your phone or to your computer and you can swing it in your living room. And on your TV, you'll see the ball flight. You can play around a golf so it's kind of like a simulator golf without having a simulator, if that's fair.
It's like a
I
Wii.
was going to say kind of like a Wii almost,
kind of
with
like a
little,
Wii.
in a sense.
Yeah, kind of like a Wii, but it's like just like straight golf specific. Anyway, so it was kind of
Kind of
cool.
rad, but it sounds really junky.
Yeah, it was cool and
it.
unique. But like if you have ever played in a golf simulator, it's nothing like that experience. It's just very unique. So that was a video that did well for us, and that's one of those videos that we recorded 2 years ago. So if I watch it again, it's like so cringe. My office is just gross, and my performance I think is gross and cringy, but people still watch it and they still interact with it. So yeah, the Phi Golf or Phi Golf, PHI Golf. You Google it, you can see the review. But that was very unique. Yeah.
So speaking of cringe, when
God.
you create a video, do you have like, maybe I'm the only person, maybe me and Dom are the only people, but do you like to actually rewatch your video or like listen to yourself, or do you like cannot stand like rewatching or listening to your video? Because I know it's like important to like learn from maybe something that you like, I shouldn't have said it like this, or I should have done something a little different, but
This honestly looks like something I would play with my dog with. Sorry to interrupt. I'm looking at the
The Phi Golf.
It looks like something I would like get my dog as a toy.
it actually kind of reminds me of one of those
Or like
old
I
school
would smack Derek
old school
with it.
fishing, the old school
Yeah.
fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of a little bit.
It's
But
definitely something I would like smack somebody
Interesting.
with.
Huh.
You can play 76 courses.
there we go.
That's kind of cool. Okay.
So yeah, so anyway, like it's hard for me. Like I do listen to our podcast episodes, but I also at the same time cannot stand it.
I don't listen. Fun fact.
How about you?
I think anyone that creates content where they're either speaking or they're on camera, I think we're all, closet narcissists, that we have this little child inside of us that wants to be like, look at me, look at me. So I can definitely watch our stuff. I think everyone, when they hear themselves, I'm sure with you guys on podcasts, you're like, that's how I sound. Like, I don't think I
Yes.
sound like that. I think that's everyone. I can watch my videos at the time because we do so many cuts. So Felix will send me 10 different cuts and I'll watch them and kind of critique them. And I can kind of watch from a third person's perspective.
Okay.
But yeah, if I just pull up YouTube, I'm like, hey, I haven't seen this video in a year. Let's see that. It turns me off. I'm like, oh, this is so cringe. Like it's cool to see where we are and where we started. But
Yep.
yeah,
How much you've like grown. But yeah, okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't listen to us.
It's tough.
Like every on my Spotify Wraps, we're never like in my podcast that I listen to. It's never my podcast, which is always like a weird, surreal feeling to explain to people.
I love listening to our podcast because we have a lot of awesome guests, and I think that's the best part of um is just meeting new people from all over the world, really. So I
My
think that's
issue is
cool.
I know how it's gonna end because obviously we're here, right?
Sure. So you don't like need to
I don't need to know what we're talking about because we already
because
talked about it. Yeah. Plus, I listen to it 2 or 3 times before I
sure.
have to post it.
Yeah, he does all the pretty much editing or whatever, like posting it. So he does get to listen to it more, obviously, before we relaunch it. So I just thought this is an interesting question because I feel like some people are very in that similar boat, and I feel like some other people are like, ah, no, it doesn't really bother me because again, it's just kind of like anything else, you want to critique yourself and try to be better. So that's one of the reasons why I try to listen to it to try to like, okay, I said this way too many times, you know what I mean? Where it's like,
Right.
try to cut that out. But so
I was
I
gonna
do
rely,
want to.
I'm
Oh,
gonna cut
go
you off
ahead.
real
No,
quick.
sure.
I just had a couple quick thoughts about this whole kind of creation stuff. I love
Yeah,
that you guys are together because I can
yeah,
really get a feel for your personalities together and you guys vibe off of each other versus if you were in your own separate Zoom rooms, you might not have the same type of interjection or the same kind of playfulness. So I think it's really cool that you guys are together. The other thing I was thinking of was it'll come back to me. That was my first
oh,
thought. So what if I remember the second one, I'll bring it back.
sure. Just to interrupt. Yeah, we had
Oh, I
actually a
got it.
couple
I
other
got it.
people. Oh, what's that?
Well, that was fast.
Yeah. I was just thinking of talking on a microphone and talking into a camera is just not natural whatsoever. So every time we're trying to make a video, we say, hey, just act natural. Well, there's nothing natural about this. I have lights on me. I have a camera filming me. I have someone watching. Like there's nothing natural about it. And the best way to make this natural is just repetition. The more you do this, the more you're like, okay, this is me. It becomes a part of your identity, and it's a lot less forceful. So I think when I
Mhm.
watch back on my own videos, it feels so forced. Like I'm trying to be that big broadcaster. Welcome back to New Nine Golf. Today I'm reviewing this instead of just like, hey guys, I got a new pair of golf shoes, and this is what we're checking out. Like it's tough to try to talk like you're talking to your buddies when all this unnatural stuff is happening. So
Sure.
I think you guys have a really good flow. So I can
Appreciate
definitely
it.
tell that you've been doing this for a bit.
Appreciate it.
That's I think what helps us is our first. We didn't have a guest for a while.
No, I think like most of our episodes were pretty much just us two.
It
Like,
was just Derek and I talking about
mhm.
golf, recapping tournaments or whatever. But then we kind of ran into the snag where we're like, okay, it snows here for like 6 months. Like can't do anything outside. And then we're like, well, what are we gonna do? So then we ended up having people like contact us and they're like, hey, we're interested. And I was like, no way. Like this is wild. And ever since then we just kind of had guests. And I think that's what made it easy for us is it's just Derek and I sitting down and talking, right?
Yeah,
And now we get to add a new person to it. And that in my mind just makes the experience so much cooler.
sure.
Especially somebody we have followed for a long time. I followed you before I even had the podcast page.
Mhm.
Um, so stuff like that has been really fun. So basically, if anyone out there is like, hey, I want to start a podcast, go for it.
Do it.
But also like do it with somebody who you can talk to, but don't always agree with. Because if you and I agreed on everything, it'd be
Dom,
boring.
Dom is definitely the how should I say this?
Oh, I'm scared.
The blunt, like,
There we go.
like without being a dick, like I don't care, but I care. Like he cares. He's very a caring person. But like for me, like I'm more like the I don't want to say like happy go lucky, but I just kind of go with the flow. Like I just like to, so like yeah, we do definitely bounce off one another pretty well. And going back to like what you'd mentioned, that was like the first time when we were doing a couple of different like video clips out on the golf course. That's like the exact feeling. It's like if I was just being normal, like I would be really funny because like we just say funny, dumb stuff the whole time. But then like all of a sudden a camera's in your face and you're like trying to be like, okay, now I need to like try to think of something to say when it's like you just need to be natural, you know what I mean? Organic. And that's I think the toughest part because I agree. Like trying to even like I type questions, but I don't want to read word for word, obviously. But I just like have those points of like
You also
things that
type in all caps, and it really bugs me.
I do type it all caps. But I 100% agree as far as having that awkward, uncomfortable feeling of just you just need to really be yourself and try to be natural. And I think that helps big time. So and we
And
appreciate
repetition is the only way to get better. No one just wakes
absolutely
up being good at speaking in front of a camera or talking in a microphone. It's just straight repetition. And 99% of the people that are making these things quit because it's hard.
It is.
You know, they'll do 3 podcast episodes. You're like, fuck, I didn't know I have to edit this. I didn't know I have to market it. I didn't know I have to put it out. I didn't know I have to listen to sound quality. Same with videos. It's like it's a grind, right? But if you're willing to commit yourself to that craft, you can only be successful.
The beauty of this, I don't edit shit. I put a filter on it.
You don't say that. You do edit some edit, and
I put a filter on it for the podcast voice on Adobe, and then I cut off the beginning and the end, and bam, we got a podcast.
Speaking of that, we are going to find a breaking point because, Brandon, I do want to thank you because I just listened to your vent line right before we hopped on. So for all the listeners, which we'll cut that, but we're doing a vent line, the Safe Par vent line, and essentially we want people to basically call in and like you did a perfect example. I think you're just spot on. So we're gonna basically put yours in a different episode and we'll respond to that. So we're
Cool.
kind of collecting all these different recordings.
And before people think we ripped off the Par Train, I asked him for help.
Yes, he does have something similar, but it's not really a vent line. It's more of a
He tries to help people.
yes.
I don't want to help people.
Yeah, and Evan's fantastic. Evan's awesome. We had him on the podcast, and he's super cool dude. So
I bought his merch. I never told him that, but I don't know if he listens. But I bought his merch. It's a nice shirt.
Very cool. So Brandon, we'll I got a few more questions for. Hopefully, have a few more minutes.
Yeah, of course.
So if we're heading to Canada to go play some golf and sightsee,
Calgary specific.
So Canada's huge. Where should we go play, and what should we go do?
Yeah, so we have probably some of the most amazing golf in the world in my backyard. So I live 1 hour away from Banff National Park, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's so worth coming out here. For you guys being American, the dollar is huge. Like for every dollar for you guys, it's 70 cents. Or vice versa. Every dollar for me, 70 cents for you. So your dollar goes very far here. So we could go golf Kananaskis. I've had a couple videos go viral of just posting what the golf course looks like. Yeah, amazing. So Kananaskis, Canmore, and then Banff. There's probably 5 of the nicest golf courses you'll ever play in your life right in that area. And they're anywhere from $100 to $250 to play these courses.
And they're all public, correct?
It's yep, they're all public. They're amazing. Cool. Like people come from all over the world just to visit this one location. So I would definitely take you guys there. The elevation is crazy. We're kind of like the Colorado of Canada, right in the Rocky Mountains. There's a ton of elevation, but there's some courses where you're 500 feet. The tee box is 500 feet above the fairway. So when you hit this ball, it just feels like it hangs forever. And it's right on the backdrop is the Rocky Mountains. It falls into nice green grass. Like it's just unworldly. If any of your listeners are not familiar with the area, I did a full golf vlog at Silvertip in Canmore. It was one of our earlier vlogs. It still does pretty good, but you can get a real sense of the surroundings. It's breathtaking. So I would definitely take you guys to that area.
Okay. We're gonna have to plan that out, that's for sure. Because I know literally Dom has talked about that for a long time as far as going to Banff. And I did post I've posted a couple of videos of the videos that went viral on your page, and it looks incredible. So that would be fantastic.
Every guest comes on and we're like, yeah, what's your bucket list course? And everyone's like Augusta and blah blah. And I'm like, I just want to go play Banff.
Yeah, he has said that actually.
Like,
once before, and
I've mapped it out. Like I could drive it. I don't think I'd want to, but I could drive. Just like, oh, I want to go.
Well, even like on a aside from a golf perspective, just that area itself is so gorgeous. I mean, it looks amazing.
It really is. If you like being outdoors, you don't have to like being outdoors to be in Banff. Like it's like crystal blue water, the mountains, just it's a really cool experience. A lot of people think that Banff is the nicest course. Banff is the one you probably know most about because it is so touristy and they capitalize on that. I think in the middle of summer, it's like a $450 round of golf and it's nice. Like, don't get me wrong. It is nice, but it's not the nicest or the best experience. So if you were with a local like me, I would take you to Kananaskis. It's like $110. They have 36 holes and you are just around these mountains and the course probably plays a little bit better. So you can't go wrong, but it's like, oh, breathtaking. I could play there every day.
We'll make sure to add those. That's for sure. Do you have like a home course that you like, record any of these videos like during the summertime or spring and fall? Do you have like a specific home course?
Yeah. So my golf course is called Country Hills. We are a fully private 36-hole facility right in the heart of Northwest Calgary. Our 2 courses are very different. One is a links style course. So it's kind of long fescue, really short fairways. It's kind of If you got good wedges, you can kind of play and you can spray the ball. I love courses that aren't tree lined because I'm going to hit the fairway over, and if I have a chance to come back, I can probably shoot pretty good. Where the other course is like right in the houses, it's very cookie cutter. You really have to follow, where the fairways are going. So I don't film there a ton. I have filmed there before, but I like to film other places because I play it every day or close to every day. So I like a good change of pace. But yeah, it's a really good course. We've had some Canadian tour events there. Usually on the Canadian tour, it is the biggest purse. I think Tony Finau's played in it back when he was on the Canadian tour. We've had a lot of up and comers that are now on the PGA tour, like JJ Spawn. A lot of these
Yeah.
guys, when they're grinding out of the trunk of their cars, they would have played my home course.
Is JJ the guy that's been getting all the heat lately for wearing the untucked?
The untucked shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I mean,
It's weird
it's
looking, but
and maybe it's just his. No, I don't mind it though. I'm not gonna hate on a dude for. I think the golf industry, as far as the apparel, we've had these conversations, is changing so much that I think that'll be a norm down the road. I
that's
think
actually a good segue because obviously, like, let me go with this, okay?
you go with it.
We're gonna roll with it. We're all into shoes, right? I'm a little bit more into shoes than Derek. I also don't have a wife, a dog, a really whole lot to pay for. So like
Yes.
I'm lonely is what
fair.
I'm saying.
That's fair. That's fair.
Um, is there like a favorite shoe you like to play golf in? Because like I have two pairs of the Jordan lows, Jordan 1 lows. I have a 12 low, and now I just picked my first pair of the Jordan 1 highs to play golf in.
Sick. Nice.
Dude, I'm pumped. They're the dark blue patent leather with the silver swoosh.
I got him.
Pretty pumped for those.
Yeah. I'm a
Is
huge
it
Jordan guy. Huge. I was big into Jordan golf shoes before anyone knew what Jordan golf shoes were. So I have a video, again, one of our early videos where I show my collection of golf shoes, and there's some really cool shoes in there. You should check that out. I'm obsessed with Jordans. That's all that I wear. I have probably 30 pairs of golf Jordans. My favorite pair would be probably the ST trainers. They're hard to find. A lot of these I'm big in the sneaker community. Love sneakers. It's like the golf community. Same thing. They always know when releases are coming, when drops are, when they're gonna be sold. And I've been fortunate enough to get, like, so you're talking about the one highs. I got the original
Mhm.
black on black one highs with like the best sole of all time. That if you wanted to buy that same shoe, if you want to buy it on StockX or Goat right now, you're looking like $2,000, $3,000 for one pair of shoes. So I'm
Crazy.
obsessed. So yeah, I'm a huge sneaker guy. I love Jordans. I love the new one lows. I got a bunch of the one lows. I got those new one highs, those same ones you're just talking about. I was wearing in my TaylorMade review video, I think. Yeah, big Jordan guy.
What are the two? It's the one, the like the Chicago like one golf shoes that are going for like 7 or 8 grand in StockX, and
Mhm.
then what was the other one that's is it
There's a
the
lot of them.
that are
Like
going
a
for like
lot of the
thousands of
well,
dollars?
before they refilled the Bread Fours golf, you could sell those. I shouldn't say that. You could buy them for like 500, 600. Now you can get those for like retail.
Sure.
Granted, retail on those is still like 210, 225.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, is the I think it was the Jordan 11 Safari. I think that's the one that's going for also like but it is wild. Yeah. I mean, like originally like a couple of years ago it was going for like 750, and also now it's going for like anywhere from 4 or 5 thousand on up. It's just
I will say one of my favorite golf shoes was actually the original Air Max 90 Golf.
hmm
Back when they had the different sole and they weren't super narrow, they're like a booty almost. I
Yeah.
still have my pair, but like I shouldn't have them anymore. I have so many.
Yeah, no, we're
It's
all kind of
sad.
sneakerheads too. I think that is the beauty of the golf industry and the way that's kind of changing. I think is awesome.
That's where I was going. It
Yeah.
is, I mean, you were talking about how, guys are now wearing untucked shirts, stuff like that. Remember when Ricky pulled up and like the joggers and the high top Pumas? Everybody just went crazy, and now
Oh,
it's like the normal thing.
really is. You
I
still get a lot of people that just make fun of everyone for joggers, but the joggers are actually pretty comfy. I like
I
joggers.
don't like joggers.
I'm obsessed with joggers. I love them.
They're
It's
comfy.
funny. It like there's so many people now that golf, right? That didn't. Golf used to be so like, right? It still is in a lot of places. It's white and stuffy, right?
Yes.
So like I play with
It's like
guys right
Jordan.
now that if you're not, if you don't have your shoes or your shirt tucked in, or you're not wearing like FootJoy leather shoes, like he doesn't have the time of day for you, right? And the
Mhm.
flip side, like if I could golf in a t-shirt and shorts or t-shirt and joggers every day, like I would in a second. So it was funny when I was thinking of things to talk about on your call in line. talking about just golf clothing was one of the things that I wanted to get into if I didn't get into what it is that I did.
Sure.
I won't tell the audience what I did so they can find that clip.
We'll
But
have you get on another one, and we'll definitely get you on that. That'd be good. That's a good topic.
I was talking to my wife about it because I was picking her brain. I was like, I don't not like a lot of things about golf. Like that's why I'm submerged into the golf community, that I really, really do love it. And my wife falls into the category of new generation female golfers.
Mhm.
Like golf for ladies used to be kind of a stuffy, or maybe you're a
Mhm.
bit bigger, or whatever the case may be for the old demographic of
Sure.
women golfers. Now there's this new surge of like fit, athletic, young, good looking girls. And you go on any page and you see, these beautiful girls that golf. And I can think of, say Paige Sporanic, just to use
Mm.
her an example. You see her in just a low cut, tight V-neck and, like Lululemon pants. Like there's not a lot of golf courses you could get away with that, but like, why can't they? Why can they go to the gym and do something physical in that, and then they go to the golf course and they have to wear, collars up to their throats? When I asked my wife, she's like, yeah, I wish I could just wear Lululemons or tights or things that I'm comfortable in to the golf course. So I think we'll see a change. Hopefully it
Sure.
changes, that it'd be like going to the park. You can wear whatever the heck you want, and as long as you're polite and have decent etiquette, you shouldn't have to have a collar on to qualify as a golfer.
I like that.
I should rephrase my jogger take. I like the really like good like golf fitted joggers. I saw one of my buddies wearing some, and they were like super tight around the ankle, but then like super baggy everywhere. So
Oh yeah.
they remind me of like MC Hammer
You kind of
pants.
have to have like the fit. If you're gonna go with joggers, you might as well go fitted. And the beauty with the joggers, and what is it?
It was kind of whooshed around. It really bugged me.
MC
It's just like it was like a nice shirt and then super. It was like
if you're gonna like wear joggers, it's just an extra or a better way to showcase your shoes, right? And that's kind
100%.
of
I'm a
100%.
big fan
yeah.
of Adidas pants
They
for
have
golf.
nice pants too, dude.
I wear like the 5 pocket like Addy Cross or whatever. They're meant to be like a hybrid I could wear everywhere, but also a golf
Hmm.
pant. I've got those in like 3 different colors.
They're
And
nice.
it's more of like a tapered leg.
That's kind of the taper leg is
Yeah.
my yeah. Brandon, I have three questions and just some quick rapid fire questions, and we'll wrap it up. The first question I have is, if you could take two golf clubs with you to play at your local 18, actually, I'll say your private club that you're associated with, what two clubs are you taking, and what do you think you would legitimately shoot as far as a score on 18 holes?
It's a funny question because I just shot a 3 club challenge. I played 18 holes with
Oh,
3 clubs. So I'll tell you what the 3 clubs were, then I'll tell you what I'll choose for 2 clubs.
there
My
we go.
3 clubs I chose my 2 hybrid, a 8 iron, and a sand wedge. Those
Hmm.
were the 3 clubs that and my goal was to see if I could break 80. So that video is coming up in the next couple weeks. That
Wow.
was tough.
Good.
2 clubs is even harder because obviously you want something off the tee, but you're then gonna have to hit into greens, right? I would probably choose like a 7 iron and a sand wedge, I think is what I would do. I
Fun
think I would
fact
hit the
here
tee
about
ball in
my
the
7 iron.
approach. I know I'm gonna miss green, so I need a wedge, and then I could putt with either one of those. People always get thrown off by this question because they want to take their putter. I'm like, you probably putt better with a wedge or a hybrid or a 3 wood or something like that. So yeah, I think I could knock it around. And sorry, what was the question? What do you think? What do
Oh,
I
and what
have?
was
What
the
would I shoot with
question?
2 clubs?
Oh yeah, yeah. What do you think you'd like legitimately shoot with the two clubs at your local country club?
I bet you I could shoot 90 with 2 clubs. I think anything
That's
below
good.
90 would be an accomplishment.
I think that needs to be your next video,
I
but
can't even do it with the full bag.
It's funny that you
Done.
say that. It's so funny that you say that because when I was traveling, I was on golf vacation. I was golfing every day. And one of my lowest, well, I don't want to spoil the video, but one of my best rounds was playing with just these 3 clubs. So I
Really.
would, yeah. So
There we go.
I shot in the low 70s with these 3 clubs. And then the next day I had my full bag and I shot 82. I'm like, this game is so stupid.
It
It's
is.
you
It
have the best
is.
round of your life one day, and then the next day you can't break whatever it is you're trying to break. So what a fun game.
That's
I've
awesome.
thought about this question because we've asked it before. I don't remember what I said last time, but I want to revise it.
Sure.
So I don't remember what I said. I have a driving iron from Haywood,
There you
so
go.
I'm using that one because I feel like I could hit that just off of anything. And then I'm stuck with my 60 degree.
Do 60. See,
60 in my
I think I
two
would go with
iron.
probably a middle iron as well, or like probably an 8 iron, 8 or 7 iron, and I don't know. It depends on how long the course is too. Like you said, and how familiar you're with the course.
That's why I took my 60 because I
Yeah.
can scull it 400 yards. I can chip it a foot,
There you
or
go.
I'm gonna chip it 100
It's a
yards.
utility club.
Yeah.
It literally can do anything.
Yeah, and then you could putt the 2-iron because
Yeah.
it's basically a
Yeah,
stick.
there you go. It's flat. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I like that. If you hit a hole in one on a simulator, do you count it?
I think that
Did you
it's
see
the
that article?
asterisks.
I did the
I
same
think
thing.
it's one of those things when someone says, "Hey, do you have any hole in ones?" You say, "Yeah, I have a real one at, or I have my first one at this, and I have a simulator hole one."
There
But
you go.
I don't think I've ever talked to anyone that brags about having a simulator hole in one. I saw a
Have you,
video to
have you had
I
one?
saw no, I don't. Do you guys have one?
No. I just was curious because we were talking to somebody
Even
a
if
while
I
back.
did, I would not admit it.
I mean, whatever. To each his own. I was just curious. What were you gonna say there, Brandon?
It's like hitting a hole in one on like 2K.
No, yeah.
Kinda.
Oh
I saw a
boy.
video. I saw a video going around today. Someone got a hole in one hitting off of a mat. So I think it's a course where they don't want anyone on the grass right now. So he teed it up on a mat and he was asking if that counts as a hole in one. And I think I have the same answer. Like, yeah, I have a hole in one or two hole in ones, but I also have a hole in one off a mat on a par three course. People talk about that too. Like if you
Yeah,
get a
you
hole
have
in
to
one on
add
a
that
par
in.
three course, does that count? Well, you still got the ball in the hole in one shot, which is a hole in one. So yeah, like people that are gonna, hate on people that have a hole in one, whether it be a simulator or real life, like you need better things to do with your time. But yeah, that's a good
Sure.
question. I'll have to get one to see if I ever brag about
There
it.
we go. Yeah, and then make a video on it and we'll repost it. If there's one thing you could change about golf, what would it be?
Oh, good
Could be
question.
anything. Could be for just like a
Other than your event and then the apparel side.
yeah,
I think I
something
think I think affordability. Like there's a
I
couple
like
different ways to play golf, but if you want to enjoy golf to the best of golf's capabilities, it costs a lot of money,
that. Mhm.
right? So anywhere from clothes, I was shopping for golf shirts yesterday, and a golf shirt was $120. I'm like, yeah, it's a cool shirt, but like $120, like that's a lot of money, right?
It is.
Clubs, like new clubs are 600, 800, $1,000 if you want like the newest, latest, and greatest, right?
Or $158,000 if you want to buy the most expensive bag.
Jesus.
That was a fun video.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but like, and to play courses, right? So if I want to bring a guest to my course, it's a nice course. It's not the nicest course, but it's a nice course. It's like $130 plus cart. So if I'm going to bring a guest out and they have to pay $160, let's say to play my course, do I think they're getting a $160 experience? Like it's tough to say. It's subjective. But like if you're
Mhm.
golfing and there's a lot of destination spots like Cabo, for example, is a beautiful hot spot. A lot of people travel there in the wintertime. And if you want to golf in Cabo, the nicest golf course is like $400 US to play 18 holes. So it's like I just wish it was more affordable. I have a lot of really close friends that are into golf, and I feel like we don't get to golf as much together because they would rather play a dog track. And I'll play with dog tracks all the time. Like, don't get me wrong. But if a really good friend of mine wants to join my golf course and I tell them how much equity membership costs and how much my annual dues cost and how much my minimum food and beverage spend costs. Like I invest a lot into golf and I wish it was more affordable, but I understand that it's a business. So if people are willing to spend that type of thing, and I think that's where golf elitist stereotype kind of comes from because it has always been kind of a money sport. So I wish that if there was any way to take away that perception or make it more affordable or more accessible to the general public, then I'm sure they can get down the rabbit hole of finding out, what's the nicest course and then start to justify spending that type of money to play. But yeah, I wish it was more affordable. That's for sure.
That's a great answer.
I feel that way about some clubs. Like I think some clubs are just expensive to be expensive. I feel that way about like Scotty Cameron stuff where it's just like
Oh, club. I
expensive.
thought you were talking
Yeah.
about country club.
No, no,
too.
no, no,
Yeah,
no.
I got you. The golf
No, I've
clubs.
never been to a country club that I'm aware of, so I don't think I'm allowed either. So like we're just not gonna talk about country clubs.
He's got a picture of his face and he's like on every country club.
It's
He's
the
just
hair. They're
banned.
like,
Yeah, no.
no. But like I feel like Scotty Cameron stuff's just expensive to be expensive to where there's all these other putters that are just as good, if not better, and they're cheaper.
I think
Like
it's more of a collector at this point, though. I don't think it's necessarily like better gamer necessarily.
oh, because I've seen people like freak out. They're like, "Oh, if I would have had a Scotty, would have drilled that putt." I was like, "I don't think so. Like, if you can't make it with that, you're not gonna make it with anything."
That's true.
Well, I can tell you firsthand with Scotty. So I used to be into Scotty Cameron collecting.
That's why
I've always been
I
a
brought it
collector
up.
of stuff. So
Yeah.
Scott, like I don't own any Scotty Cameron putters anymore. I have very few head covers because I got really immersed into I need a Scotty Cameron, and then I needed a tour Scotty Cameron because just a regular Scotty Cameron off the rack $500 putter, that's not good enough. I need a tour putter that's $2,000. Then I'll make every putt, and it's just not the case. So then I sold everything. I'm like, what did I get myself into? I still think the stuff is cool. It's kind of like watches, right? So a regular Timex, $30 Timex will tell the time. A $30,000 Rolex will tell the time, but which starts more conversations, which are you more proud of, which has a community behind it. So there's a whole bunch of different factors into justifying expensive Scotty Cameron stuff. But even me, I got so submerged and I'm like, I need to get my investment out of here. I made some money and I ran. So I totally get what you're saying about Scotty Cameron because I use a $300 ping putter just off the rack and I have just as much, if not more success with that putter than I did my $2,000 limited edition Scotty Cameron putter. So yeah, it's so true.
Great answers. Yeah, I like that. The last thing is we do a little rapid fire questions, and we try to make them rapid. They're just sometimes they don't end up being that way, but we'll find out. So the first one here is, what is the lowest round of golf that you've shot?
63, 9 under.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is impressive. Was that at your country club or was that at like a?
Yeah, it was at my home course. It was a tournament round, so it was like straight by the book. There was like no bullshit involved, no like breakfast balls. It was a men's league club final, and we were actually playing in a five-some. So I had four other guys that were there to attest my score, and it was crazy. I had
Did you
7
win?
birdies. I did win that event, yeah. So it was 7 birdies and an eagle, bogey free. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That
I
is
broke
sick.
90 once, not to brag.
What was my lowest is 76. That was
I was there.
Yeah, he was there. I was dialed in. It was pretty awesome. But I was down to about a 9 point something handicap, and I'm at like a 10.1 right now. And I didn't play too much towards the end of the season, but it is you really have to stay consistent at it. But I will say also sometimes it is nice to take like a 2 week break just to kind of like literally like
You'll refresh.
refresh. Exactly. Hit the reset button. But that's an insane score. That's awesome. Pants or shorts on the golf course?
Shorts.
Shorts. Hat, bucket hat, or no hat?
Hat for sure. Big hat guy.
What driver is currently in your bag right now?
Currently, it is the TaylorMade LTDX LS, which is the low spin model. I have the all black version, and then I have an LA Golf Dustin Johnson series shaft. So it was,
Is that is that Cobra or
You
TaylorMade?
said
Cobra.
Taylor.
Cobra. Oh, did I
it's
say
Cobra.
TaylorMade?
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry, sorry, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, you said Taylor.
There
I was
goes
like,
there goes all my credibility as a golf club reviewer.
I was like,
No, just wanted to make sure.
you said LTDX. I was like, are my irons not Cobra?
Yeah.
No, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Cobra LTDX LS.
And
Yeah.
then what was the other item? Sorry, what was with the LA Golf?
The shaft, yeah. So I got an LA Golf shaft in it, which is a Dustin Johnson series shaft. So that's been my baby for the last year, and we'll see if that changes this year with the new drivers.
You already answered this question, but I'll ask anyway. What is your favorite style of course? Is it a links or a traditional style?
My favorites, fuck. I have two. I would either play in the mountains or beside the ocean.
Okay.
So if I have one of those two aspects in the course, those are my
I like the
favorite. Like I
answer.
love elevation change, and because I don't live anywhere near water, for me it's such a novelty to play by the ocean. So I travel a lot, and if I can, I'm usually playing in the mountains or by the ocean. So those are kind of my favorite types of courses.
Well, if you want to come to Minnesota, I can't get you on the ocean, but I can get you right on a lake.
Oh, got plenty of them.
Perfect. Perfect.
What is your favorite golf shoe that you're wearing right now?
I mentioned it earlier, probably the Jordan Trainer STs. Super cool shoe, but I have so many in rotation. Like these one lows, like finally Jordan made a more like a retail golf shoe in these ones. A lot of them are still selling out, but
I like the ones.
they're so comfortable. The one low is like my favorite street shoe. I got a ton of one lows and they feel the same. I wish they had a little bit more traction. Like I probably wouldn't wear it on a day that it's raining just because there's not a ton of grip in the sole of the shoe. But yeah, those are good shoes.
Early morning golf or twilight golf?
I'm not the only time I'm a morning person is when it is for golf. And it's funny, like if you can play a round of golf at 6:30, 7 o'clock, you're done by 11. You're like, oh my God, I have my whole day ahead of me. Like, what am I going to do?
That's me. Dom's the exact opposite, but that's me. Yeah.
As long as I can get 18 in, like I don't like twilight golf if I can only get 13 holes in. I would just rather play 9 or 18. So as long as I can get 18 in, a day golfing is a good day for me. So I'll take any time.
Okay. What is your favorite club in the bag right now?
Probably my two hybrid. So all of my clubs are new within the last year or two, except my hybrid. I have this two hybrid. I usually don't play a 3-wood. So if I have a tee shot where I need to just keep the ball in play, it's my two hybrid. It's a Titleist 915, which
Okay.
is going back. It's probably 5 or 6 years old now, but I'm just like obsessed with it. On the shaft, there's a little like a wear mark from taking it out of the bag so many times. It's rubbed so many times that
Yeah,
there's like it looks like a blemish or a birthmark on the shaft. But
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
you ask my buddies if I need to keep that ball in place, two hybrid.
That's the club. Who's your favorite golfer?
Tiger. I
Sure.
love Tiger. Like, how can you not love Tiger, especially growing up when he was so dominant in the early 2000s? He's gone through so much that it's hard to not love the guy, right?
Sure. Favorite golf course that you've played, and then maybe a bucket list course that you'd like to play.
One of the best experience I had it was in the Dominican Republic. There's a golf course called La Cana, LA space CANA, La Cana Golf. I think they have a PGA Tour event there now. Beautiful. Like you talk about the nicest ocean you've ever seen. It is like turquoise blue. It's still a little windy because it's right on the ocean, but it's just so green and lush. And the community that you're in, the houses on the course are like $30 million houses.
Oh
It's
wow,
crazy. I think like at the time
awesome.
I was there, Justin Bieber had a concert there and he was renting one of these houses. And it looked like a house that Justin Bieber would rent if he was in the Dominican Republic. So
Who's Justice Beaver?
Doo Pete in my
I'm just
bucket.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I was throwing a Dwight
It's the
old Office reference.
it's the
Sorry.
doo Pete in that mop bucket. McDonald's. I think that's a
And
true story.
that could be. I don't know. I like Bieber. I'm a Bieber guy. But bucket list course that you'd like to play
bucket list course is
besides
definitely
obviously like St. Andrews or Augusta probably or two or Pebble.
that's fair. Well, like St. Andrews, the public can play, so you can get
Yeah,
on St.
You
Andrews. That's
could
fair.
public could play
Augusta,
Pebble
yeah.
too.
yeah.
Somewhere that I want to get that let's say is a little bit more realistic that I could get to the next couple years is probably Cabot
Oh yeah.
Trail
Cavaliers.
on
Okay.
the East
Yeah.
Coast. Yeah.
Okay.
So Cabot, I think they have 36 holes out at Cabot. I can't think of what they're called off the top of my head, but
Have you played
Cabot is
Brandon?
supposed. I haven't. No, Bandon's definitely on the list. It's the same
Sure.
ownership group. I'm pretty sure that
I was going to say that's
owns
why I mentioned. I was
Cabot.
going to say, yeah, I think they're the same kind of partnership. They also just invested and bought a bunch of property. Well, it's now open in Wisconsin, Sand Valley Resort. You might have heard of that before
Yep.
too. I think they just invested in another piece of property that they're opening another course. So that's kind of one of my bucket list, being that it's right next door as well. But no, Brandon, we really appreciate your time. There's one last question. We always end up asking a food related question. I know we'd mentioned it earlier, but so if we're heading out in your direction and we're out on the town, where would you take us to go eat a meal?
So where I live in the province is Alberta, and Alberta is famous for beef. We have some of the best beef in the world, some of the best steaks. It's imported all over the world. So I couldn't take you out anywhere without getting some beef. I take you to a really nice steakhouse. There's a place in town called Highs. So you're looking at like, $120 steak kind of thing, but it's like the type of steak that would just melt in your mouth. You don't even have to chew it. So I'd probably take you somewhere there. We're a very diverse, multicultural city, but I couldn't bring you to Alberta without giving you some good Alberta beef. So we'd probably do that.
Awesome. Well, dude, it's been a pleasure. Like I said, we kind of wanted to kick off season 3 with a bang, and we're happy to have you on, and we'd love to have you on again down the road. And keep on doing keeping up the great work. Like I said, we'll continue following and help you out along the way as well. So
Who knows? Maybe we'll play in a tournament together
yeah,
without
there we go.
knowing.
Yeah, you never know. So
I'll
I
be the
would
one
love
way
to.
over on the right.
thanks again, Brandon. You take care. Okay.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thanks.